All right, we're live. Hey there, everyone. Justin Fox, Marc-Andre Colum, and Denis Bouteau. We are back at it again. This is day three for the Trees of Lives fund launch on Backers, the initial Backers offering on Backers. Trees of Lives is a fund selling partnership units in the fund on the Backers platform. It is run through or by Vertistera. I have my guests here today are, again, third day in a row, and we're going to be at this every day. Marc-Andre Colum, who is the Chief of Corporate Affairs with Vertistera. And then we've got Denis Bouteau, who's our special guest today, who is essentially the Chief Program Manager for Vertistera and the General Manager and representative of Vertistera in Peru. So you actually are in Peru. I don't know if you have can you show us the outside and show us sunny, and I'll show everyone the winter snow, or maybe Marc-Andre can show us the winter snow. You can show us the beautiful Amazon.
Well, let's say just one moment. We'll try to do something.
There I was. Yeah, there we go. All right, there you go. Beautiful
there
outdoors.
Summer.
Summer in Peru, right? Awesome. Cool. So, Denis, welcome to the broadcast here today. Appreciate you joining me. We're going to kind of go through some of the questions. So, obviously, just so everyone watching understands what's going on, essentially, Trees of Lives has launched their initial backers offering, or IBO, where you are now selling units in a fund to investors on the platform. And those units obviously are of the Trees of Lives fund, their partnership units, and that fund will then use those funds to do what they need to do with the restoration and all the things that we're going to talk about. So obviously, as an issuer on Backers, appreciate you guys being on the platform. This is not financial advice, so obviously do your due diligence. Make sure this is, it's risky. There's all kinds of different things, but we'll talk a little bit about what, the benefits of investing in this opportunity are, or at least Marc and Denis will. But let's jump right into it. I'll throw this out there as well. If you want to raise money for your business or get funding for your business or venture, this is what they're doing through the initial Backers offering. You can use the Backers platform to raise capital, raise funds for your business, and get funding for your business from the crowd, from everyday retail investors, just like everyone watching this show. So I thank you guys again for joining me. That was my selfish plug, I think, for Backers. We haven't really talked much about what Backers does on these broadcasts, but that's what we do. So you guys are using, obviously, the Backers platform to raise capital for what I think is a pretty amazing opportunity. But again, do your own due diligence if you're looking to participate. So we'll jump right in. Marc, why don't you just do a quick intro? Give us Coles Notes, 2 seconds, who you are and what you do and why you do it at Vertistera, just so we know. And then we'll jump into Denis.
Yeah, okay. So Marc-Andre, Chief of Corporate Affairs. So basically, I work at Vertistera along the CEO of the company. I help put in place all the business corporate structure. In this case, I'm helping, putting the offering with Trees of Lives, all the structure of it. So that's my role. And I'm working with all the people on the ground, like Denis, who is, doing a great job in Peru, trying to advance as much as possible all those projects, all those restoration projects. So I offer them all of those teams, all the structure they need to be able to function well and expand the business and make sure, everything runs smoothly.
Perfect. Awesome. So obviously, yeah, we've been doing this now. This is day three. The plan is to do this every day from now until the closing. Just let everyone know, when is the Trees of Lives raise closing on Backers?
Okay, so this closing will be January 14th. So it will be, in a month from now. Right now, like the unit at $1 per unit, and those units will increase in price. So if you want to enter this at the a good price, that's the time to do it before January 14th.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Awesome. So Denis, welcome to our show. You're coming to us live from Peru. We just saw so obviously the weather's nice. Just out of curiosity, what is in Celsius? What is the weather there in Peru?
Well, it's about today. It's about 22.
22. So it's still nice. Does
Yeah.
it get warmer or?
No, yeah, it's going. It's going. We're going through the summertime. So on the coast, the west coast of Peru, it's going to be summertime until end of April,
Okay.
and after that we're coming on what we call here the winter times.
Winter. Okay. Does it snow in Peru?
I beg your pardon?
Does it snow in Peru?
No, snow. We have snow for sure.
The mountains?
In the Andes, in the Andes, because we have mountains. We have the Huascaran in Ancash has more than 6,600 meters. We're talking about more than 20,000 feet. So it's quite high, and it's permanent snow. It's
permanent snow, right?
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay, cool. So you're in Peru. You're the chief program manager for Vertistera and the general manager and representative in Peru. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, your career, and sort of your role at Vertistera?
Yeah, I have studied forest engineer in the decades of the 70s in Laval University in Quebec.
Okay.
And during that time, I saw that tropical forestry was looking very, very interesting. So at the end in 1974, I got the chance to have a first projects in Congo. In that time, it was the Zaire. And so I've been there for a few years. I was responsible for biodiversity inventory of 5 million of hectares, just inside the big tropical forest in Congo. So that as a very huge experience, I start my professional career after. And after that, I've been contracted by the Canadian agency for international development to as a consultant in house to develop projects and programs in Africa, especially on West Africa. So I used to work in Cameroon, Senegal, and Zaire for sure in that time. The Congo, and after that I finally went back to Congo for 5 years at the beginning of 1980, where I was responsible for the forest management of a large concessions for a Zairean company, forestry company. And after this experience, I got the chance to come in Peru in 1985, where I start in. I have been coordinator of the program of the forestry program of the Canadian Agency of International Development for 5 years. And after that, well, I got married at the end of this stage of 5 years in 1989 with a Peruvian girl, and we at the beginning of 1990 we've been translated in Cameroon, where we've been for 3 years. Just until 1993, and after that we came back. We came back to America, and we got a coordination projects in Honduras in Central America. So that's where I used to be about 12 years in Honduras with my family, with my wife, and two kids that we had at that moment. So until 2005. In 2005, I spent about eight years in Canada with some companies, and since 2013, we've been back in Peru. So, and meanwhile, we used to be about a few years in Colombia for another projects. I mean, but and we're still since 2019. Now we're on this project, Vertistera. So that's in a few words that 47 years of experience.
Wow, there you go. Quite the world traveler. I mean, throughout Africa, throughout Latin America, it seems like you've been to a number of places. Just so I mean, a lot of those projects that you're working on, are they similar to what you've been doing with, or what you're doing now with Vertistera, or like what kind of projects were you doing specifically at each one? Like just roughly,
What?
not to get
Yeah,
into
yeah.
too much detail.
Yeah, no, no. What's interesting? I have a very diversified experience in many projects that I used to do, and that's the reason after 40 years of experience that when I met Martin, the CEO of Vertistera, and he proposed me to work. To work with Vertistera, I just realized that all the experience, very diversified experience, and had in every project was a very good occasion to implement this Vertistera concept here in Peru. That's a rare challenge.
Right. So tell us about some of the projects that you've worked on in the past. Like, what are some of the projects you've worked on in the past?
Yeah, let's see. For example, in Africa, I used to work for many projects in biodiversity inventory, in forest management, in the tropical forest. I used to work on the dry forest in Senegal. I used to work in forest plantation on the west coast of Senegal. I've worked in Burkina Faso, in Benin, in other kind of experience in more global forest management. And in Cameroon, I used to work in forest management on large scale, on the 20 million hectare, on land use planning, and in Congo, like I was saying to you, I used to work in many kind of experience in the biodiversity and industrial aspect, etc. One of the experience that is quite important for me, in which I can help really in this Vertistera approach, is the Honduran experience. I got the chance to be the coordinator of 50 professional teams in Honduras, on the northeast coast of Honduras, on the Caribbean. And the idea was to put together all those professional agronomists, foresters, sociologists, anthropologists, biologists, etc., together and try to see how could be rational development of the natural resources of the coast. It is a beautiful region on the north of Honduras, still with tropical forest, and on the Caribbean, and naturally for the poverty question, people were cutting and burning the forest, slash and burn, and we were trying to find models to develop up there. So with the support of our team, we developed a concept of a training center and demonstrative center, trying to show to the people how could be managed the forest with better practices. And I'll tell you that it's one of my best experience that I have executed in my life.
Awesome. That's I mean, so obviously 47 years well spent in many
You
many
can explain
projects,
that
right?
in 10 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, can you roll out 47 years, like thousands of days, and just tell us in 2 minutes? Yeah, no. So obviously, we could probably have 3 episodes just discussing some of your past projects, and that's amazing. So I guess that obviously lends to your expertise, but tell us a little bit about Vertistera Peru and what you're running down there. And then I have a sort of a follow-up question depending on what you say. But tell us a little bit about Vertistera Peru specifically and what you're doing down there.
Yeah, it's in 2018. I was working on a project on the north of Lima here, and at one moment, a good friend of me of Africa, Louis Gay, called me and from Canada and said, "Denis, are you available tomorrow for dinner?" So I said, "Yeah, probably for Louis, I'm always available." So he said that I would like to present you somebody that you may like to discuss. So the day after we met for dinner in a very nice restaurant in Lima. It was in September 2018, and it was Martin Nadeau, Baudouin Nadeau, and
Who we had on the show yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yesterday it was. I was listening to him. This was quite interesting. And so Martin was explaining to me his visions, how he was looking to the new concept of project, and I just realized that my 45 years of experience at that time could be very helpful for Martin and the whole team. So I said it's a huge challenge that you're looking for, but I think it's quite interesting, and I think that I have many elements that we could contribute to implement your dream. Let's call it a dream for the moment. No, a dream that comes a reality in the short future.
Right. So dream that's coming true. So just to sort of touch on, that's how you met Martin. So what is the concept of Vertistera Peru? What is it that you guys are doing? What is the project? So we talked a little bit about it with Martin yesterday, but explain the problem that you solve basically in the Amazonian rainforest.
Yeah. The situation of the rainforest is about the same in Africa, in Amazon. Poverty is a driver. Poverty is conducting the attitude of the people who don't have the choice to cut and burn the forest, and to have some short terms plants or cultures. And so if they know, if we are not let's say support those population to develop better practices, those people are going to keep going, and will they will not have no choice to continue to slash and burn the tropical forest, like we saw, like we're seeing actually it's a whole phenomenon. So if we come back about 15 years or maybe more, when I was in Honduras, what we had developed in Honduras, starting about in the same condition, we saw those poverty conditions, those people who were cutting the forests and etc. So we decided in Honduras to establish ourselves in the middle of the action, where people were burning and were burning their forests, and we were asking where if you were asking them where they were burning their forests. The answer was at that time they had no choice. I have a big family. I have a 5, 6, 7 children's family. I have to feed my family. I have no way. They have to. I have to burn the forest because for me, forest is not. I have no direct incomes from this forest. So what we have developed in that time during those 12, 15 years, we have developed the concept with those populations exactly, and we have really developed with them, with the teaching what could be the better practices in the tropical forest, what could be done. So when they realized that it was really possible to change their attitude, they did. And what they see. So 15 years after in Honduras, if you were asking why they were planting trees or why they were doing agroforestry practices, they were saying, because I want to send my children to the university in Tegucigalpa, which was the capital. So it was not only to feed the family. It was
Right.
it was a great harbor, much harbor. So the people now they wanted to get in to get introduced to the new concept, and little we have changed that mentality. So it is possible to change the mentality, but it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of energy, and it has. We need to demonstrate with a pilot, with a small unit, what we're doing. So we have those kind of pilot, because I used to travel in the Amazon since many years. Like I told you, I was in Peru between 1985 and 1990. I used to work almost everywhere in the Amazon, and I saw the condition in the Amazon in that time. When I came back after so many years in 2013 to 2014, I saw that the conditions were worse than before.
Right.
People were keeping going, and they had no change. The problem is that the government is not. We have a huge problems of, and it's not only in Peru. There, many countries has the same problematic, and in Peru we have a lot of migration from the height Andes, the mountains, and the people coming down the valley and down the Amazon, and they don't have the experience to walk in the Amazon. So they comes without with their customs, with their mentality, and the only thing that they are thinking is to expand their territory, and burning more territory. So normally, government should support the kind of population that are in migration like this. That was not the case. So since 40 years, I can just say that population are just living to their chance, to living and going. So let's reverse the thing. But Amazon is not a desert. And there's still about it, only in Peru, we still have 60 millions of hectares of tropical forest. A good
Right.
part of those forests are owned by the native communities, around 20 millions of hectares. Another part is concessions, and another part is protected areas. So the country still have a lot of forest, but we have to be careful because degradation go fast, and we have, during the next decades, we have to reverse that tendency. So with little experience, that comes bigger and bigger and bigger. So I am from the school of thought that we have to start later, like we're doing those years, and we little we're growing, and we the example maybe real and fast. The change of the mentality.
Right.
So we have many things to do, but little, you know.
Yeah,
That
little by
talks a
little,
lot
right?
about, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, Marc. Sorry.
Yeah, that talks a lot about, like why we're doing this, and like we need to start now. We need to take all the experience that Denis had in Honduras, where they saw not only like using technology, but also sociology, all those social science to discuss with the population and get to know them. And we need to introduce all of this knowledge and experience of Denis, in Peru. And we've been working like since 2019, so it's been 2 years now. We're working hard on this, and I think we're having like a great team to be able to do what we want to do in Peru.
Perfect.
We're introducing, like Marc-André is saying, we're introducing a lot of human science in our demonstrative and training centers. So sociology and anthropology are very important, but psychology is another science that's going to take more and more importance. We realize that psychology approach is very important with the population, and we have to understand their life, their condition of life, to change, to modify their custom and everything. So it's a question of mentality, but we have to do all those things. So in the same time, we're working quite hard on the technology package, which is very important. What's Martin is going to try to bring from Canada, new technology that trees are going to be to grow much faster, and in the tropics it's real. It's already fast, and it's going to be faster. But we have to do it gradually, and at the same time we have to be as we're living with human society. We have to put the sociology, the psychology, the anthropology, the knowledge of the population in a very important consideration before only working on the technological package.
Perfect. It's sort of kind of segues into
Yeah.
my next question a little bit, right? So obviously your approach is very different from others in the industry. So I mean, I think it's interesting you talk about the psychological aspect, because if you go in and you simply, like both Martin yesterday and Marc 2 days ago alluded to, a lot of times they'll go in, plant trees. Those trees are now cut down 3 to 5 years later, and they're back in sort of that cycle of the only way they see to make money, the locals, right, is through the what do you call it, slash and burn, right? So by
Yes.
building in the psychological, sociological understanding of like the long-term benefits of doing certain things with the land, you can change almost a whole generation, where now that knowledge, that awareness, right? So It's just
Right.
interesting. So so your approach is obviously different. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your approach and how it's different outside of maybe the psychological. But you also talk about the importance of training and capacity building for the productive population in the Amazon. So that's something we'll talk about. But why the demonstration and training center implementation is so fundamental in this, right? So you talked about the training centers. So tell us a little bit about how your approach is different from others, and then talk a little bit about the importance of the training. And we touched on it a little bit, the psychological aspect, but let's talk about your approach and how it's different from others in the industry.
Well, our approach is different in the sense that, I think each company is trying to do from its best, but they don't have always all the good resources, or maybe sometimes with a lack of holistic visions. That Vertistera, we are really a multidiscipline team completely, and we're trying to have this orientation of respect of the population, respect of the native population, of the native knowledge, respect of all those values that we have. We consider that it's very, very important, but not only staying there, it's with those people trying to work with the training center and the demonstrative center. So what could be done better to get a step further? So it's why it's so important for us, the training center. I think it's fundamental. I used to be in, like I told you, many years in Africa. I've been in Asia in a few occasions, and I saw a good training session, good training session more in Asia than in Africa and South America. In South America, we have some good institution here in the Amazon, but they are working
Silo?
in Cape.
In silo?
In silo, yeah, exactly. That was what exactly that was looking for. Everybody is working in silo, where they're doing a capacitation, a training on Friday or Saturday on a specific project for 80%, and the people are going back to their house, and next month we're going to have another training. And so training for me, training for us, it's not only that training, it should be permanent. That is quite important. So that's the context of training we have developed, and developed a project concept that we have presented to the to different financial institution in Peru, and in Canada, in other countries, other institutions, and the idea is to have a main training center and demonstrative where the people could come each week, and each week they can sleep up there, and they can receive all the information about their culture, where they're coming from, why they have some difficulties to live, why we need to talk between us. Sociology, psychology are very, very important in that. And after that, we're going to get in the technical aspect, and how to do to work with the spaces, with the varieties, how to improve the spaces in this. And later they're going to learn and to learn. So we have to come back, to make a step back, and start with the people little a little. So it will take times, but I'm quite optimistic in the sense that, and I have seen it in Honduras, is that if you're doing it correctly, the population are changing very, very rapidly. And because in this training center and demonstrative center, who are coming to be in the future part of the teacher are going to be the same producer, the same people. They are going to teach to their people because they have their way to talk, their language, and so they are going to be very, very useful. And after that, it's going to make a snowball effect very, very rapidly. And we have definitively experiment it. So I'm positive, very positive in that. It's because, well, it takes years. It is for sure. It takes 5 years. We're going to have some results. We're going to have very positive result, and after that, we're going to have more little centers, little demonstrative, because we may have one main one principal where we're going to have big demonstration with plantation, many spaces with native spaces, plantation, agroforestry models, medicinal plants, and we're going to have other kind of plants too, germoplasm bank, etc. But the idea, it's not only to be localized at one place. It's going to have some small. By example, we have in Urimaguas in the Amazon on the San Martin, very close to the San Martin region. We have one little center like this, and we're supporting it's called CP Agri, and we're supporting the people there. We're supporting by training, and we are planting this year with those people very close of 50 hectares of a new plantation and ecosystem. So it's going on the main center in Ucayali. We also have more than almost 100 hectares.
Then he tell me if you agree with this, but like to summarize, those training center are institutionalizing everything that we're doing, and they're making sure that everything we do is not like just for the moment, but it's really to deepen and make all our system very sustainable. And in terms, of carbon offset, one thing is very important is to have like a carbon offset that will be durable, like over time. So like to have very durable system, institutionalized system, make sure we will have those systems to be there forever, basically for the very long term, at least.
Yeah, thank you to remember this. This main aspect is institutional aspect is guarantee the durability of the systems. In Honduras, we had the foundation for the agriculture research that was the main counterpart of this training center, and this foundation was a very solid institution that was controlled by the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Environment, etc. So the same idea that we propose here in the Amazon is working with the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Research in Agriculture, working with environment, but working also with a research institution like IAP or other institution like that one. So the idea is to create a pool of institutions that are going to be on the steering committee to manage the institution. So it's not only one institution that's going to manage that, but it's going to be an institutional approach,
Right.
which is very, very important. It gives sustainability in the times. It goes through the political crisis or weakness or things like this. So we're trying to avoid or to avoid that kind of weakness on the trajectory. And the other aspect is the financial aspect. So it's we have to make sure that we're going to have money for the 5 years, and after to see how the center could be sustainable. And it's always has been the main problems in the world with FAO or UNDP. So we have big challenge, but I'm quite sure that we're going to, when the local authority are going to see the benefits of those kind of centers, they are going to contribute quite a lot.
Great. So that actually kind of leads me into one of our last questions, I guess. Here is that around. Obviously, you've got tremendous experience, right? So many years, 47 years experience. I guess the question is, do you think Vertistera is going to be a game changer in the way they restore degraded land, and with obviously the Trees of Lives Fund? Do you think though that Vertistera is going to be a game changer in the way that you restore degraded land? Sorry.
Well, I think it's definitively. I strongly believe that Vertistera is going to be a great driver of change. Is by the way, it's not only Vertistera. Vertistera is associated with a lot of institutions and a lot of concepts. By example, we are part of the World Resources Institute initiative, which wants to restore for 2030 about 3 million of hectares of degraded land here in Peru on the 10 millions that existing. So it's a huge challenge on the world level. We're talking about more than 50 million hectares of restoration. So Vertistera is bringing new concept, innovative concept that part of a big network of restoration. We're quite sure that we're bringing a new approach and modern approach. And very important is holistic approach. So the concept that we have it's really to go forward with those concepts. So I'm quite optimistic that Vertistera is going to be a big contributor of big element of change for the future.
Element of change. Great. Perfect. So that leads me into talking about change. How do you believe, or how will the activities of Vertistera, obviously through the funding from Trees of Lives, contribute to climate change and climate change mitigation? I guess it's not so much contribute to climate change, contribute to the mitigation or the reduction of climate change. So how do you think Vertistera will contribute to that?
Well, it's later. I think we actually we're working in Ucayali, a very small locality called New Palestina, and if we're talking with people from the people are just saying that they're just realizing that they're confronting a new climate, a new approach. They're just realizing that it's a new climate. And so at the beginning, when we used to talk with them a year ago, they were saying, why are you coming here? Why are you... We're a few person, and why are you believing in us? Because you're part of the change. That's the reason. So we're starting later and later, and those people are saying that the climate is changing, and they are seeing now by doing their own plantation, their own management of restoration of the soils and planting new plantation, and they're just saying that this is going to change and to mitigate the climate. So 100 hectares from here, and after that, like I told you, it's going to make a snowball effect. By the way, we just received this morning an invitation for a group of about 60 persons, 60 families that are waiting for our people Saturday morning in groups and they want to make part of the Vertistera new program.
Right.
So it's already create the impact, and we're just starting. And so the snowball effect is for me is concrete. It's real.
Right. So it's interesting that you say, so once sort of the people see or realize through education that in their plot of land or their piece of land, their plantation, whatever you want to call it, when they see that they can make a difference in their piece, then they realize that everyone else can do the same and make a difference. And then they realize that it's going to be not just them, but if everyone does their part, essentially, together as a whole, the 100 hectares maybe doesn't do a lot, but you can start to see the benefits of one, and then that snowballs, as you said. Interesting. Awesome.
Just to go back to the last question, how we can be a game changer. It's not us that will do anything. I mean, we're not going to be the change. We're just going to be the catalyzer that will give them hope, so that they all start to organize, and this just snowball in all the Amazonian forests and hope, like in all the countries. So I think this is how we can do the changes, being very deep into a small country and do a very great job locally in a small place, and then scale that up everywhere so that it goes so fast after that, because we've found the recipe, like to multiply this everywhere in the world.
Right. So I think it's key. I think just for me listening, I mean, this is, again, we're doing this every day. Just everyone watching. So myself, Justin Fox, founder and CEO of Backers. We've got Marc-Andre Kaloum, who is the chief of corporate affairs with Vertistera, and then Denis Bouteau, chief program manager with Vertistera and the general manager in Peru. We're discussing your initial Backers offering. So you're selling units in a fund, the Trees of Lives fund, on the Backers platform. And then those funds are going to be used for the investment into these projects, obviously, as we talked about. So it's interesting to hear the psychological sort of kind of educational aspect, where you can, if you're able to get to the people themselves and have them see why, maybe the why is important, why things are being done, and the benefits of those. So I think I'll use the example, you can give a man a fish, and he'll eat for a day or whatever, a couple of days, whatever, right? But if you teach them to fish, right, then they'll eat forever, right? I mean, that's sort of the analogy.
Exactly.
Right?
As you point out,
exactly.
This is the exact reason why, we can be a very game changer, is if we succeed to change some way, some plots of land, how we will going to restore and manage them. This is going to propagate like crazy, because everyone is going to teach the other one, like pass to the following one, and this is just going to be crazy.
Yeah. So basically, before, I mean, I don't want to answer your questions. I have one more, but I'm just trying to deduce it for myself, because maybe, so before there was only one option financially for these landowners. The most money, the easy money came from slash and burn, right? Any alternative, what you talked about, Martin talked about yesterday, was, fractions of a penny. And, if it was, carbon credits only or different things, it was so little that they got paid that it wasn't worth their time. In this case, you're showing them an alternative that will benefit them financially maybe more so. I don't know the equation, but maybe as
Four
much
times. Four times more.
four times. There you go. So 4 times more financially beneficial, and it comes with the benefits of sustainable, long term. Looking at the future, whether it's global climate change or just their own backyard, literally their own property, right? And they're being able to have that sustainable, and not just, as we talked about yesterday, constantly extracting, but now having a sustainable piece of land that their children's children can grow up on, right?
Like the key is that the impact investor can make money while restoring the planet, while making a vulnerable community make so much more money. That's why it's a win-win-win. I mean, when people realize they can make money out of restoring the earth, this is going to snowball, because I can make money, and instead of my money destroying the planet, I need to live. So therefore, I know I'm going to destroy the environment, but I need to feed my family. But now the story is changing.
Right.
I can make money. I can feed my own family. I can have, a lot of money myself while doing the restoration of the planet, while helping other family to have a better life. That's the key changer. It's a win-win-win. And this is where I think there can be a game changer in this whole, like we're talking in COP26 about, yeah, okay, let's try to commit, but the action is difficult. Why the action is difficult? Because there's no profit out of restoring the lands. Right now, restoring the lands is a cost. But with Vertistera model, we can transform a cost into an impact investment that generates both financial return and non-financial return. And when we call about non-financial return, we talk about biodiversity, we talk about like a social impact, we talk about helping like the life of all those people, making money out of helping all those people and helping have a plan in the future for your kids. So that's what we offer. That's the Vertistera model, and that's why I'm so excited, like to be like every day talking to you about this, because this is my passion right now, and I love to discuss this every day.
Perfect. So I'm gonna end it off with one last question. I love it, Marc. We're gonna bring the excitement. I think we should do each day we'll try and do maybe different themed, especially as it starts to come into the holiday season. There, I think I froze for a second. Anyways, Denis, I'm gonna end it off here. Last question. Really appreciate you joining us. Obviously, Marc, thanks for joining. I think we're the host now. Together, we're co-hosts. So I'm gonna stop being the host. You can start probably asking some questions. I'll get you up with it. But anyways, Denis, one quick question, I guess. A side note, just so we get to know who you are. You've been obviously away from Quebec for many years. You said you were back. Are you a Habs fan, or were you a Nordiques fan, or are you not a hockey fan because you've been out of Canada for so many years?
Well,
just out of curiosity. Complete sidestep. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I've been outside since so many years that I'm watching sometimes baseball. I like.
Blue Jays.
I like baseball, but it relaxes me, and I like the way that it has to be so precise and in a few seconds. And I like okay, not really, not so much, because it's well, it's a bit too much further, too many years without seeing games and things like this. I like football. I like football, which is
soccer.
which the and but really internationally we're following what is the football in the country, so more or less. And so we're working so hard in that we don't have so much time to follow HD. But I'm following the snow competition and things like this with Radio Canada HD. I'm still with my Radio Canada news every day with my tablets. And one final word that I would like to maybe to tell you, it is very all those consideration of planting trees, carbon offsets, and things like this. It's just a question of human sense,
Right.
and the people we must really help people to change the mentality in the Amazon, where they could live as a paradise. If we just realize that Amazon is almost a paradise, but actually they're cutting the tree, they're cutting the branch on which they are sit down. So it's so we have to help them to understand that that's not the way to for the future, for the next generation. So all what we have talked, that technological package, that psychological and the social aspects are all the whole holistic vision that we need to change. And we need to support population. We must be patient, and we must the change is not within 2 or 3 or 5 years. We're talking about generation. So as you said at the beginning, what we're doing, we're doing preparing the next generation, and which is going to be much better if we're working hard on that.
Right. So I appreciate that, Denis. Obviously, Marc, thanks for joining me. I have one last question. You kind of just touched on it. Where do you see Vertistera in the future? What does the future hold for Vertistera and specifically there in Peru? Like, what are you guys, obviously, Trees of Lives raising funds for the project. What is the future of Vertistera in Peru?
I see it as a very reasonable and honest models. Really, I see it like this model that we're trying with a heart, to work with the population, trying to develop the models correctly. And not only the aspect, as Marc says, it's going to bring money to the people in the Amazon, and it's going to bring money to the people that are going to invest in the world. So it's both sides. It's going to be a win-win. So I see the Vertistera really has really a country giving to the nation, to the population, a nice and honest model of restoration and development.
Perfect. So very positive impact. So obviously those that are participating in the offering, again, do your own due diligence. This is not any sort of request for anything, but take a look at the opportunity. We're just kind of presenting what's happening here. So again, Denis Bouteau, thank you very much for joining me here. We'll put the names back up. So Denis Bouteau, Chief Program Manager with Vertistera, also the General Manager in Peru. Thanks for joining me. Marc-Andre Colum, Chief Corporate Affairs at Vertistera. Myself, Justin Fox, backers, the platform on which they are raising the capital. Backers, obviously through 108 Securities. Again, everyone, thank you very much for joining me. Everyone out there live, we will be back again tomorrow for the final episode this week, and back at it all next week, and then the week after and the week after. So having some fun doing it. Denis, really appreciate it. Next time I'm in Peru, I'll have to get your number. I'll come by for lunch, or maybe tea and cookies. And we'll meet up. I was saying to Martin, I want, once this is sort of all said and done, and backers needs to come down and do like a site visit of all the projects. So we should, so we'll definitely meet at some time. Hopefully.
Good.
Yeah.
We wait for you, Justin.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Everyone else, thank you very much for joining us. Marc, you want to say final last words? Denis,
yeah, I'm very happy to become a co-host with you. Bring all those excellent people with a lot of heart and soul and value, and working with all their soul and strain on this great project, showing all the expertise we have. I think we have a great project. It's very great to be talking over and over and over about this, because we need to hear more about this. and I really thank backers, like to host, our offering. I think you have a great product, to make this accessible to like people just about $100. Everyone has $100 to invest. This is not an invest offer, but like everyone has this kind of money. So I really thank you for what you're doing with backers. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Yeah, no. Happy to help for sure. Awesome. Well, everyone else, Denis, any final words that you want to talk about before we go our separate ways here, or anything maybe we haven't touched on, or
No, I think
shout out happy birthday to any family members? No, I'm just kidding. But
thank you.
we're live. I don't know how many people are watching, but we're live.
Yeah, we're waiting for you, Justin, here in Peru, and we'll go together in the Amazon.
Yeah.
You will see in person what are the reality and what could be done. Okay, together.
Perfect. Awesome. Really appreciate it, Denis. Thank you. Everyone else, thanks for watching, tuning in. We got actually a comment. No, thanks for streaming. Great finding. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Anyways, I will. There we go. I'm gonna end it. 3, 2, 1. And